This is called confusing the people who don't understand things. This is the ace. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mod Bros video. In this video, I'm going to be showing off my long shot spring Ceda.
Call it a dual strike Ceda.
No. No. It runs long shot springs, so I'm calling it the Ceda LS, alright?
No, call it a Ceda Ds, because it has dual strike plug, dual strike rod, dual strike catch.
Nah. Okay, so this is essentially the ace from Jet Blasters. It is a Ceda that I have modified because I have multiple Cedas, and one thing that I don't like is having just multiple of essentially the same blasters, so I didn't want to make just several 200 FPS Cedas that are all running like Ceda springs or the HMI kit. So I wanted to change it up a little bit. So basically I just have the lower right here right now just so I can show you, because this is all the modifications I've done. It works with either of my Brass Breach or my Alpha Kit uppers that are running the lipless plunger tube. But basically all it is I took out the original like retaliator internals. It's only running the stock trigger for like the actual like firing internals. Everything else has been replaced with a dual strike catch mechanism and plunger rod. So this is our metal sink drains that we use for all our lipless plunger tubes. It's running a homemade plunger head that is made out of some washers because I was making it around the time that our 3D printer wasn't really working, so I couldn't just print out a plunger head, so I just sanded down some washers till they fit in there properly, and then this is just how it is. And then this is a dual strike plunger rod that's been cut down so that way it can fit inside of the stock. Had to do a little bit of shell work in the stock, and I think, yeah, I lost the use of this screw port because the plunger rod comes back through, but I wanted to maintain how long the plunger rod is because I wanted it to stay seated properly. But yeah, so I've taken out all the internals now. Basically, can't really see very well down in there, and I don't really want to take it apart. Oh wait, where's the flashlight? Guess I'll use the phone. So as you can see down there, that blue shell is the original dual strike shell with the orange catch. It moves up with the trigger. It's a custom made trigger extension, just with a little bit of acrylic and some epoxy putty that uses the original Ceda trigger, and it just extends it back so that way I can release the dual strike catch mechanism when I pull the trigger. It's not as smooth as like the stock trigger release would be, but it's still very good. And then it's running just this piece of 1.5 inch sink drain, which is the same plunger tube that we run in all of our kits and all of my lipless plunger tubes, and that just fits down in there. And currently I don't have any mounts printed for it because I'm lazy. I don't really ever use this blaster, so I just have the plunger tube being held in by an adapter, and it wiggles a little bit, but that's fine. The springs that I currently have, since I don't really have any proper long shot springs, I have a stock long shot spring, and I have this spring from an F-Strike, which is a funny story because I got this from an F-Strike when I ordered a 9 kilogram retaliator spring, and they sent me a long shot kit that I think was 9 kgs, and they're just like, here you go, and I messaged them, and I'm like, this is not what I ordered. And they're like, it worked fine, right? I'm like, no, not work fine. Very different things. So that's the spring combo that I'm running. I don't really have any other springs. We've tried to test it with Tucker's massive long shot springs, but this is what we're going to be using for the video right now. But yeah, the reason I made this blaster is because Tucker was trying to make
Don't show it again.
This is Tucker's true long shot internal Ceda as he runs away from the kit. He runs to hide from his shame. Look at what the monster you created. Come and explain this atrocity.
Alright, fine. Since it won't be a video for like a hot minute.
A hot minute indeed.
It is an original Ceda lower. I have the upper sitting here. I'm off to finish it. But I 3D printed and designed a back plate adapter for long shot. I don't have any of the things I need down here. But a sink drain will go in here. Long shot catch will sit right here.
Not an actual long shot catch.
No,
though.
it's a 3D printed. Look, it's a Ceda LS catch.
So technically yours isn't a Ceda LS either.
But this functions like a long shot.
Mine functions like a long shot.
You can't just show its springs.
Yeah, it functions like a long
No,
shot.
it functions like a dual strike in a Ceda body.
Yes, but it also functions like a long shot because a catch holds this back and then it does some things like that. But I'm just saying, I'm not calling. You telling me I can't call mine because it doesn't have long shot bits in it. Yours doesn't have long shot bits.
It has closer.
Well, all right, agree to disagree.
Well, anyway, it's a little crooked right now, so I gave up on it for a little bit.
So yeah, it's just 3D printed pieces that he's going to be using, and then it's going to be running a shortened long shot rod with 3D printed catch, running long shot springs. That would be pretty cool once he ever finishes it, which he says it's basically done.
It's basically
He can totally finish it if he just had the effort, you know.
totally different.
Mm-hmm. Whereas, meanwhile, when we were starting this and I was telling him that a dual strike would be way easier, he didn't believe me.
I wanted long shot bits.
You don't need long shot bits. I take all the good things from the long shot and I replace. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the lower. It wasn't very much work. I can sort of show off with a little bit more fine detail. I didn't really care about cosmetics all that much, but like from afar, looks pretty stock, I'd say. But if you look up close, it's not very good, but don't really care. To compare, I have brought my HMI lower running the 62 Hellman skirt seal plunger head, and then I just have the Alpha upper with the brass barrel that will be using an upper for both to sort of just compare the FPS. So this here is my HMI lowered Ceda that I have as a comparison to running this. We're running, so assumingly this is like a 2 kg spring stock pretty much, right? Hey Tucker. Yeah. Stock long shot spring 2 kg, right? Wow. All right. So 2-ish kgs. This one, I honestly wish I could tell you. I believe it's a 9, but I don't know. So in combination, roughly 11-ish kgs, and then this one with the 62 Hellman is running 13 kgs. They're very close kgs. It'll probably be about the same prime weight. But yeah, so we're just gonna go through, fire off a few darts through our chronograph, and just give a little comparison. But yeah, so just to sort of explain the upper that I'm gonna be using for both tests, it is our Ceda Simple lipless conversion running the Alpha Breach with a foot of brass. Very simple. Very light prime. The base spring that we put into our kits is honestly very light. That's all 5 shots out. And I'll see if I can get this up on the camera. An average of 219 over 5 shots. Fairly decent, I'd say. Now I just gotta find all them darts. So gonna be using all the same darts to keep things consistent. And now I'm gonna quickly show you guys, maybe time lapse this just to show how quickly it is to change between the 2 different firing platforms. I can just swap this all out. Too much work, Tucker. All right. The dual strike lower is a little bit harder to put together just because of how long it is. And I also don't have the plunger tube mounts, so maybe take that with a little grain of salt. Motorcycle's loud. I mean, there we go. Real time. I have swapped over now to my long shot lower. That was maybe a couple minutes. Not even like trying to do it at all fast. All right, got my long shot spring lower now. The prime. Ugh. God damn it. Working just fine earlier. Alright guys, I have the long shot spring lower all set up. The prime feels very equal in like how heavy it is. It is kind of nice how smooth it primes though, because with the HMI, the spring kind of rubs on the catch a little bit the way I have it set up. And so you can sort of feel a little bit of like I can't remember the word for it, but just like tapping as the spring compresses past the catch. Whereas this one, it's nice one smooth motion. That's really well. But yeah, let's see what it chronographs. So that's all 5 shots fired off. Averaged 178. It's not very good. I may want to check if my plunger tube lubed up properly, because it's a little bit lower than what I was getting the other day. This right here. And use some of this nice good old silicone lubricant. Once again, 5 ACCs into the long shot sprung dual strike lower. There we go. Now you're hitting pretty. All right. Across 5 shots, averaging straight at 200. That's pretty decent for the 10 or 11-ish kgs that it's running. I'd say that's very on par with what you would get from other long shots. Man, where'd all them darts bounce to? I don't really know exactly like the gold standard for long shot spring performance. I've seen a few videos. Bradley Phillips did one with a brass barreled 10 kg X Zeus without a muzzle detachment. I think he was hitting around 190 to 200, so I'd say right on par with there. I'd say this is hitting very nice. Definitively long shot performance inside of a Ceda shell while still running long shot springs. So if you like the Ceda, but you don't like retaliator internals, maybe this will be something that you're interested in. Not that we're selling this as a kit or anything, not yet. But maybe you like this video. Maybe you think this video is pretty cool and you want to give the video a like and a comment. But now, I'm going to take the barrel of that.
I'd rather you die.
And now, whilst I reset the chronograph and Tucker gets his blaster ready, we're going to do an X Zeus comparison to sort of get some different numbers of what a long shot type thing could hit. What? No. So yeah, Tucker's X Zeus is also running a brass barrel, so that will be very comparable to this. It's running the Omega. The Omega breach. I couldn't remember if it was a different O word. I was like, it's not Omni. That's not it. But yeah, it's running the Omega breach by Jet, which should be similar to the Alpha in comparison of efficiency, I'd say. Man, they walked in together. Yeah, definitely a good see there.
Oh yeah.
Just a dab would be.
Get this Talon thing out of here. Yeah, we only represent Jet out here with good comments.
Superior man. Yeah.
We don't exactly know what spring this one was. We believe
It's either an 8 or a 10.
it's either an 8 or a 10. It feels just like that. So I would definitely say on par for a 10 kg spring. So I would expect 200 FPS. We'll see what we get.
I was getting 210 last time I played with
Okay, it's
it.
right in there.
It might be dry as shit.
You want me to leave this on?
Do one with, because I'm curious just to see
Okay.
what it's hitting.
This is our printed Merlin. So we got 5 ACCs loaded up. Just gonna do one with this just because we want to see. And this isn't meant to be truly an accurate representation. Just sort of a, hey, let's test the next week.
It's the game. Yeah. What did I? You said this. Oh. 142. It might be a little dry. Can I take that off? Might be a little dry. 209. 191. 211. 206. And the mountain.
So yeah, without the printed Gandalf on the end, you may want to come in here and sand the inside so it's a little smoother. That's what I did with mine.
Oh yeah.
Or yeah, the one that I have for my brass breech. It's like a little rough on the inside, but without that, hitting right at 200, 210-ish.
That'd be hilarious. I use this to limit the speed it does for certain events. Oh, we have a cap of 150. All right.
Slap that baby on there. But yeah, so for a very comparable prime weight, hitting the same numbers, I'd definitely say for all you haters out there that thinks Cedas and whatnot can't hit long shot performance at the same kg.
Suck it dick.
Suck on this, nerds. Because it totally can. Yeah, we'll get this stupid X Zeus out of here since we're all focused on Cedas, dude. Yeah, dude, frick the X Zeus. This thing has passed. Cedas is the new hotness.
Dude, I don't think I can handle frick. That's a little far.
Oh, dude, is Kappa gonna get us?
Dude, Kappa's gonna get us. We're not gonna get monetized.
Oh, frick, dude. Oh, it's not like we get that anyways. Yeah, guys, so hope you liked this video. This was over my long shot spring dual strike plunder tube Ceda. The Ceda Ds, Ceda LS, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm very proud of this mod. I definitely will keep this one in the back pocket. I will also plan on doing a video later on to show off all my Cedas, since I have multiple lowers. I have three different lowers that all use different springs, and I have 2 different uppers that have slightly different breeches. So look out for that video in the future if you like Cedas and you like customizability. But that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will check you out in the next one, guys. Bye bye.